Okay. Hi guys. Hi Dominic. Hi Lindsay. Hi Lab Accident. Hi Bugs of Paint. Looking forward to some spring invocation. It's like gray and rainy and slushy today. Barely above 0. So this is kind of what I want to do today. Like the two at the bottom, where I had started these two quite some time ago and never finished them, and I put this aside, but the bottom two here, they were blank. It was just the base color. And then I sort of had an idea to try and see if I could integrate cats in this. So I dug this up and did the two at the bottom to test it out, but now I want to test it further. And I have no idea if you guys can hear me. Our tulips have all shut up in the last couple of days, and early stages of bloom are all over the place and ready to remember where we planted what. Oh, that sounds lovely. Did you plant some crocuses? Sun is good and those are... Oh, thank you so much. So yeah, okay, good. I'm always worried about like rambling and the sound is off and you guys just see like hands moving and stuff coming in and no audio. But yeah, so I want to like push this further. I don't know if I think I prefer having this smaller cat rather than a bigger one. But yeah, I have to do more tests. And also I wanted to test like this specific base layer that is, I don't know if you can, I hope you can see, but it's coarser mica. So it's really shiny, but it's also a bit uneven. So I wonder how watercolor will look on top of this. This one is leftover this plus interference gold. This is one of the various gold ones, and this one is another gold one. I have them here. All are by Golden. That's this one. That's this one. It's this one and this one here. The crocus daffodil pigs were wild. Oh, so you had both planted. I love crocuses. I think it's pretty cool that they double up every year that they are in the ground. And since I use golden like base layer, I like to use golden core watercolors on top. So that's my hodgepodge of core colors. A lot of them are from samples that I was sent, that I just like removed the sample and put it in there, and others are from tubes that I own. So yeah, pretty straightforward. And brushes, I will be using these two mainly. They are Princeton Heritage 4 and 6. Hey Val, hi! Also, I need to sort of lay out my like for all the other ones I can sort of just start a bit more abstract, but for these I try to kind of make some sort of basic composition to figure out where I'll put the little cat. I did the first sketches in graphite and it kind of showed through a bit too much and I didn't like that, so I'm trying colored lead for this one. So how is everyone today? Oops. All right. The week for me has been chaotic. Oh no. What happened if you feel like talking about it? Weather has been kind of strange lately here. Early morning wildfire smoke blew in these past couple of days, looking like fog because of the cold air, but the day is brilliant so far. Oh, that's really peculiar. I didn't know we were in the wildfire season already. Yikes. But at least I got a high score on a very important exam of the US. Oh, that's really cool, Val. Good job. A lumpy elephant filter. Oh, but we're doing okay. A fun thing art-wise this week was getting my cyan, magenta, yellow inks and trying to ink an A3. Ooh, that's big. Doodle. And the art isn't great, but the gradients are amazing. Have you shared that? I would love to see how the gradients turned out. Yeah, wildfire. There was also a quite serious earthquake just east of Fukushima, I think. It's like in addition to all the man-made turmoil that's on at the moment, we are entering like a season where a lot of natural turmoil also happens. I haven't yet, but it was so much fun. I managed to not have any big ink pool on. Whoa! Good job. I'm really curious about those ink. Do you follow oh no, it's not early. I forgot to mention it, but Canada, Quebec, Canada. Anyway, we switched time zones last weekend. So for me, it's the same time as usual, but yeah, I forgot that it's earlier for almost everyone else. Sorry. Bugsapine, do you follow Furry Little Peach? Feels like we need to get our crap together with this natural disaster going on constant. How you switch? Yeah, I switched time zones last weekend. Was it last weekend already? Feels like ages ago. Yeah, I thought about it last weekend and then forgot. Like, I figured I was like, oh no, it's gonna be weird next live stream, and then I forgot about it. Nonetheless, my teacher said I got the highest score in my class. Hey, congrats! That's so cool. Oh, it's perfect now. It's 7 p.m. for me, not 8. So it's perfect after dinner evening. US is contemplating getting rid of DST. Yeah, here too, I think. And I really wish we would. Because DST is useless. Sorry, Clive asked me about something and I only heard something about a peach. I was asking if you are familiar with Furry Little Peach's work. Sean Dantes. I hope they win. We want to get rid of it too. Causes so much. Oh, I know. Everybody should get rid of it. What's the point anyway? Thank you. This car really was the self-esteem boost I needed for the week. That's awesome. Good job. Hey, Jellybean. Lena says, I've heard that the EU is uncertain as some countries are for the removal of daylight savings times, but some want to keep it and it would be a mess. Oh. And it would be okay. It's just, it's a bit like that everywhere else, actually, I think. Like, in Australia, I think they have like something like 5 or 6 time zones. It's so lovely. Like you mentioning working in like primary bright colors in acrylic ink reminded me of what she does. Their art is always so sweet. I know. It's so colorful and fun. It's an outdated idea because of World War One. I think it was a way to conserve oil and such. Possibly. But I mean, by now it's no longer useful, so hopefully we'll be able to ditch it. as well. I'm bummed I got a 77 on my economics exam. Dang it, it has been a while since I've heard people talk about grades and such. Is 60 still the passing grade? Economics is just really confusing to me. Yeah, I remember drawing a lot in economics. Yeah, it is. Okay, phew. I remember college grades with huge curves. A 40 was B plus in my physics class. What's the point, though? I mean, why is the exam so hard? In the UK, I was devastated by a 75 on the first assignment, and I worked really hard at it. 70s was an A. An A. 60B, 50C, and 40 a pass. Why? Why not scale all that up? I don't get it. It's so tough on the students, like, to work so hard and see the numbers, and the grading is just completely off. Usually early exams are reading tests because the classes are too big. Yeah, but I mean, it's just so disheartening as a student. Yeah, that's it. Jellybean says, I also got a 79 on my chemistry exam, and as perfectionist, I feel like I'm failing. Why not, like, if that's the... Anyway, pretty sure you guys know what I mean. Like, I don't... Like, morale for students is so important. I wish they would be more careful about how they scale the grading. I was a good student, but exams are not my thing. Do you have a hard time, like, studying for them? Because that was always the big hustle. For me, I think it was really uneven. Some classes I had no issues whatsoever, but other classes, and not the ones you would expect. Like, the hardest class for me was music. I had to study so freaking hard and a lot for the stupid music tests. I can sit and talk your ear off about X topic, write it down and have me answer. And it's just a blank screen. Oh no. In my defense for chemistry, the girl sitting next to me popped her gum the entire time, and as someone with sensory issues, it was driving me nuts. Ugh. Turn around and can you not? Back in my days, you were not allowed to chew gum in classes. Like, people, we would try anyway, but you had to try and hide it. I remember, wait, what's the word I'm looking for? I remember sneaking in Bazooka Joe gums hidden in my socks. Like, not the feet part of the sock, but like you put them like between your ankle and your sock. I can agree with the morale argument, but I think the intention is to challenge students. I think it gets much easier after the prereq classes. With my 71 scar, I do feel like it's a double-edged sword, as many said it will help with colleges, but I'm uninterested with all colleges offered to me. Well, maybe it will help with the ones you are interested into. If I enjoyed the class, I didn't have to study much. The ones that I didn't enjoy, I had to force myself to memorize things long enough to get through it. Yep. That sounds about right. Ugh. I love words and meanings, but couldn't care less if it's spelled right. As long as you know what I mean, we're communicating. Yeah. And, like, to be fair also, most of the stuff that, I don't know, anyway, it might just be me, but most of the stuff that we were taught then, I don't remember what we were taught at that time. For the longest time, I could not remember how to do a, I don't know. I'm not sure about the word in English though. Anyway, some sort of super basic mathematical operation, like on paper. At some point I remembered, but it took like a long time. A really long time, and I was like, oh, dang. One of my issues with American schools is they hardly help artistic students with their hairs. Oh, no school does. No school do. Like, you have to be really fortunate to stumble upon a school that will help it. Everybody tells you, but you must do chemistry, maths, physics, and what was the other one? Biology. Because it will open door. You'll have all the doors open, and ultimately it's freaking useless. Oh, box of paint. We worked with a chap that you could follow the smoke trails to find. Ugh. I was a smoker at the time, and it even freaked me out. Oh my gosh. Leaving recent graduates. Yeah, well. Dallas, oddly, is one of the exceptions. There have been tons of famous people that went to the art magnet school. Ooh! If you're giving me flashbacks. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It goes to show that the song hasn't changed much in like 20 years. They still say the same stupid old dumb stuff. Hey Nicole, hi. How are you today? Well, it's a bit striking how the colors don't look right on the screen, but interesting too. It's frustrating because my dad said he doesn't care what grades I get and is more concerned about my mental health. But if I don't get all A's, I feel disappointed with myself. Well, I'm glad that at least your parents are not adding more pressure on top of that. It's great that they understand. I could be lying, but pretty sure Lauren Hill went to the Dallas Arts. Really? That's pretty cool. The UK have that bit sorted a bit better. You get to specialize at some point so you don't have all the other core class you end up with in the States. I think I need to check that out. That's interesting. I'm really curious what the curriculum looks like. Because yeah, I went to a high school that was, they call it an international education program, I think, whatsoever. But it's basically just like I want to be fancy. It was not. But yeah, basically one of the difference is that at certain grades you can decide to choose classes that are usually at a further grade. That was a really long time ago. I'll try to remember exactly how it went, but like in the third grade of high school out of 5, you could decide to do the math class from like the 5th grade. The like the usual 5th grade, and they would like offer to switch stuff around and offer more difficult classes, but it was always sciencey stuff. And soon enough, like you are like you have 2 spots that you need to choose classes for, and you either have like a bunch of scientific classes or art classes, and of course everybody's encouraged to take the scientific stuff because it opens doors. But nah, unless you really know, like if you know you want to be a physicist, okay, fine, maybe. But also, I mean, not everybody's like me. Mr. E took art classes as long as it was possible, so oh, that's a really good point. Dominic says to Jellybean that they think their dad, sorry, is totally thinking about them long term. grades only last so long. Your endgame job won't worry if you made a B+ one time. Yeah. Definitely. At some point, all they're gonna focus on is your past work experience. Part of it is my brother is a straight A student, so if my grades don't match his, I feel like I'm underperforming. Aww. Like my last year of high school, I had to do math, English, science, phys ed. My nephew is 16 and deciding on the courses he wants to take to focus on. Oh, that sounds so great, though. I understand the need for phys ed classes, but oh my gosh. At some point, like, we had the school I went to had a couple of specialized gym room, if that makes sense, since they would offer like extracurricular classes in certain things. Like there was a pool attached to the complex, and one of the gymnasiums was mostly about gymnastics. So they would try to use that up for the physical education classes of the regular school curriculum too. So we had like half a year we did like the gymnastics stuff. And I really struggle. I'm not a sporty person. I'm not athletic. I am very short. I'm not strong, and it was similar back then. And it was just not compatible with me, and I would try so hard, but it was just a mess. Thankfully, the teacher gave me a passing grade, and it was also the one time that I got a kind of a mention, like they would be like little diplomas they would give to students to like what's the word I'm looking for? Acknowledge like either their great grades or something, and I had one for like basically for trying hard. So I barely like passed that class thanks to the teacher. I mean, I think technically I would have definitely like flunked it, but I tried hard enough that I got a passing grade and a piece of paper that acknowledged that I had tried a lot. It's still funny today. One thing that really annoyed me though is that for the first half of high school, you don't get to choose what art class you take. You are forced to take music classes. And as much as I love listening to music, I can't play it to save my butt. And it was one of my most hated classes, and I would have loved to be able to switch it out for like drawing classes or whatever, just not music. But no, you're forced to take music. And it was really hard, and I'm really not good at it. And then when you're finally offered a choice, before too long, you are also offered, within that same pool of choices, the sciencey classes. So I did all the sciencey classes instead of art classes. I was athletic but wanted to be in remedial PE because I didn't want to be in class with the... Oh yeah, the jocks. So I cut class a bunch and told them they hadn't even noticed I was missing Move Me. Oh no. And I got to finish my last 6 months. Oh, that's great though. Oh my god, Jelly Bean, really? Jelly Bean says, I like my chemistry professor as a person, but not as a teacher. After the first exam, she made a point of saying someone got full points. So doing well on the exam is possible if you put in the work. Ugh. That's not very, that's not good teaching skills. Oh. I did both art and music in school, and honestly it was confusing for me to decide which to focus on. Yeah, but at least you were offered a choice. Like I don't know. It's just my experience, but I was miserable in music class. I struggled with it so much. And yeah, it was the exams that I had to study the hardest for. And like in proportion of the studying I would do, I would get a really like it took a lot more studying to get a good grade than other classes like biology. The average was in the 50s. It was a hard exam. Like, thanks for guilt tripping me, Lady. Yeah, she's not nice. Not nice. In the music classes, we had a bit of theory, but then mostly sang. So no one had to actually play anything. We still had. I can't sing either. I mean, it wouldn't have helped. But it's just. Anyway. Blech. I'm good at memorizing things, like my entire sheet music for the season, poems, etc. Memorizing. I could not, for the life of me, remember the periodic table. Oh no, Vox and Pain. But that's so. What's the point of remembering the periodic table by heart? You can always have access to it. Like you can like have it on the wall as a big gas poster. Eventually, you'll learn. Like if someone is studying in a field that is requires that knowledge, they'll figure it out at some point. But to like high school chemistry class to learn the whole periodic table, why? Why is it so hard to remember? Oxygen has a -2 charge, but nitrogen is a negative. That was our tree: art, choir, and band. And you had to be part of the main one to do the extracurricular. So, fortunately, all the what you would probably call orchestra. Anyway, like it was separated. The people who really wanted to focus on music and be like in the extracurricular music stuff, it was extracurricular. So yeah, but you were not given a choice of art forms, not until the 3rd year of high school. Like I hated music in primary school and hated it in high school. The second I was able to get rid of it, I yeeted it as far as I could. Like, no, thank you. You only had to learn like basic stuff, but yeah, also the knowledge is outdated fast as new elements are discovered. Also, yeah. Oh, I agree, Val. Exactly. Val says, I wish schools taught us actually helpful things like handling finances instead of teaching us the perimeter of Jupiter. I mean, it's interesting stuff, but it's always stuff that you can check later on in life. And like handling finances or how to. Sorry, a lot of people when they finish high school, they go study in other cities. Sorry. So they have to sort of live on their own and figure out stuff on their own. And over here, there's a bunch of stuff that I learned through not doing it right. And then you call like some government office and the lady on the line like almost scolds you for not doing the right thing. And I was always tempted to reply like, how am I supposed to know? Like, oh, but that expired 2 years ago. Oh, really? Well, I'm just finding that out now. Great. You know. Oh, that's a very good point, Buxapaint. Buxapaint says, with all the sciences, I have a much better understanding now than I did then. It's really interesting stuff, and you can find the most amazing people explaining things now. Not just read pages X to whatever. I agree. And you can sort of really focus on what interests you. I remember my the last physics classes I had. I hated the teacher. Teacher would be basically like, go read the book, figure it out yourself, and then come ask me questions. And he would spend the whole like class time on his, back then, brand new Apple laptop. Blech. It was also the class. I don't know if it's still like that, probably, but like the classes are decided at random who is in which classes. Like for us, it was a whole. You were always the same group of people, and you would like all together go from one room to the next for different classes. And like you would not necessarily end up being with your friends. And I remember one year I didn't have many of my friends in my class, and also especially in the physics class. So I was on my own there, and I ended up at a table with 3 guys that I did not particularly enjoy. And the guy next to me, one of the first thing he said was like, "Oh, I think people with red hair, it's really ugly." And I was just like, "Why are you saying this? What's happening? Oh my gosh, help. Can I leave?" And I was just like, okay. Good. Great. I had to do all the team projects with that dude. It was just so... Oh my gosh, it was so fucked up. It was like, I'm okay. I don't care. I'm not with you guys because I have a choice. I didn't opt to be here. I was like the one person left, and you guys were the only group of 3 left. Everybody was already in groups of 4, so I kind of had to join. Anyway, I have no idea. Hold on, let me track back. Dang, Lena, your classes were a lot more thoughtful than ours. To be frank, teachers have a lot to do, even more so. Yeah, I mean, it's not that, but they're not helped by having a bunch of students who don't want to be there. So I think it would have maybe been wiser to find out ways that at least when a student is in a chosen class, they are there because they want to be there, you know. But anyway. Nicole says, I agree. When I was buying my house, I must have said that, what kind of loan am I getting? First time homeowner? I don't know what you're talking about, sorry. Buxapine says, we did have home economics, and one of the sections was how to write a check. I thought it was stupid until I was 18 and none of my friends could. Oh, I caught the end of home economics being offered as a class. And we there was a whole part of the class that was cooking. And then the rest of the class you were taught how to sew. It doesn't sound like a good teacher. Well, if you're talking about my physics teacher, he was a poopy head. It's like, please explain. I don't know what I'm doing at all. Yeah, and I mean, our economics classes were about how to, like, invest in the stock market and maybe other stuff, but I don't remember much of it. It's not exactly useful, you know. I dropped out of my AP pre-calc class as it was too difficult for me to understand. I also was draining my mental health. My teacher just reviewed the lesson in 5 minutes and it was, oh no, what the heck? Yeah, we had no checks but transactions and where to put contracts. Wow. One of my friends in one semester managed to get sewing and metal shop removed. Wait, what? What do you mean? Hey, Josefina, hi! So by the time I got to metal shop, it was technology and it was all about spatial awareness and what the subject would look like if it was turned and flipped. I failed. I could not understand how anyone was doing it. I was thinking I'm early and you're just starting. Oh no, yes, Cyan, I'm sorry. We switched time last weekend. Nicole says, I mean, the realtor was talking to us like we knew what was going on and I had no idea what we needed to do for the loan. I wish they taught that in school. I agree. I don't know if you would remember it by the time it's time to purchase a home, but I feel like it would probably be a bit more if it's not taught, you have zero chance of remembering it. But if you have a class about that, there's a chance you might remember it. Bless their heart, they managed to have an accident in both classes, so they scrapped them after however many. Aww. I think they were probably just looking for an excuse. Like, I saw how some woodworking classes would go, like shop, and it's a lot of equipment to sort of take care of. And it's gotta be expensive at some point. And it's not like school budgets are always increasing. I had my fair share of accidents in gymnastics classes and they didn't remove it. I wish they would have. Or, how great can it be to have a phys ed class that is at the pool when you're a teenager? Answer, it sucks. I was the annoying friend who told you all of the dangers in the thing you were about to do. Metal shop and wood shop were a terrifying concept. I know! I managed to do cat wood shop. It was mostly gluing stuff. Oh. But yeah, I mean, I think in other classes, or maybe when I was in college, they had sort of a woodworking class or something, and all the saws and all the noise that would come out of that room was pretty hardcore. The one time I took arts in high school, it was great. The teacher was so nice. He would basically let us like create a bunch of stuff. Like he would give us a theme and sort of how many like weeks we were supposed to work on a thing. And we were basically just left to our own devices, which was really great. Welding scares me still, even if I've done it a lot. Also, all rotary tools, they have potential to make things fly. Eep. Hey, Yuri, hi! One I would love to be able to figure out is how to do stained glass. Purely hypothetical, because I don't have any of the resources or access to them or whatever, but I saw Simon Gertz do a stained glass window for her house, and I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. My family have carpenters and welders, and they are amazing at what they do. But like it, I've almost always had someone that I could say, hey, I need a thing made, fixed, and boom. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that if you are someone who is like worried about the dangerous side of these things and sort of focus on that, it's helpful to have someone who is not scared of those to do them. Like, it's always a relief, right? It's a bit like driving. Oh, but like IT. Sorry. Like it! Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's a bit like driving. I've never really had to learn how to drive, so I'm old and I still don't know how to drive. I lived in Austin during the first tech boom, and all of my friends were amazing with computers, and anything wrong or need an update, and it was sort of... Yeah, and I'm sure they were like happy to work on it because it was still like all brand new and shiny stuff. I'm sorry. That was gross. But I still like work with big industrial robot. The feeling's just amazing when you drive something so big and capable of crushing humans. Oh no! Well, it's all fine and good until the machines decide to take over, right? I'm afraid to learn how to drive, to be honest. Well, in like hindsight, I should have taken my driving classes when I was younger. Even if I like didn't drive then and still don't drive a lot, because at least it's handy when you're a grown up. Like if you have to go get stuff at IKEA, well, you can just rent a car and bring it back, and you don't have to try to haul stuff on the bus or something. You know, it has advantages, but I don't feel like owning a car is necessary. Like you can learn how to drive and not have a car yet, and rely on all the services that offer you either community cars or the ability to rent one, if that makes sense. And Clive is rather good at IT, so at uni he was an invaluable resource to me and my friends. Aw. I still get kind of scared when I'm a passenger and we're on the highway. Oh no. Speaking of bus and IKEA, I once saw someone had kitchen in bus. Oh no. Aw, poor them. Oh, that must have been not a fun bus ride for anyone involved. I mean, it's bad enough when people, like more than one person has to get in the bus with a baby stroller. I cannot imagine having like big IKEA boxes in there too. Like the buses are not meant for big stuff. My favorite part about the stroller, and warning, curmudgeon talk coming, but the way it's... Hold on, let me grab a cheap post-it and a Sharpie. Okay, so basically the Montreal buses, the latest model. Okay, that's the first. Here it's the accordion, and you have a second part of the bus back there. But let's just focus on this first half. So you get in here. There's usually like a seat here, just next, like close to the door. Then you have a big thingamajig because there's the wheel underneath. And I haven't taken the bus in forever, but here you have a bunch of seats that you can either lower them, but if you get up, they will like go back folded, like they kind of fold like that, and you can lower it to sit on it and it will go back. And that space is designed to accommodate people with wheelchairs or strollers and all of that. And on the other side, here you have the driver. I think there might be like a bench there. The other thingamajig for the wheel, and then a row of like single seats, I think. And at some point I think they started having like, anyway. So like technically this extra space here is meant so that people can park their strollers here and like be either like lower a seat next to it or stand up and do that. But what most people do is they sit down and they let the stroller in front of them, so they end up blocking the way anyway. And I'm just like, well, we tried. That was my rant. My dad is more keen on my brother learning to drive because of his social events. Yeah, that's a good reason. I also feel like I am not good at processing what is happening on higher speed. Like, I sometimes struggle with that on my bike when I'm tired, so it doesn't seem smart to start driving yet. Driving is a strange thing if you have control issues. I started in Texas in the middle of the country, but was still worried about everything. You don't have control over everyone else, but you can even take extra courses to help you be more ready and in control if you should need it. That's interesting. And yeah, I think like people can do like panic attack in cars, but that's something you can also get medication for in general to be more calm about taking the road. Defensive driving here even saves you megabucks on insurance. It's just a good skill to have, and like it's handy if you eventually need it. But yeah. Defensive driving was recently added to law here, which is a really good thing. I don't even know what that is, actually. I've said before, but I got lessons as a gift in the UK because I refused to learn here. Windy roads, teeny tiny roads, sunlight, strobe lights everywhere you drive. Oh no. And then there is no such thing as a straight road. They do things like teaching you to swerve, emergency brake, and things of that nature. Huh. Hey, Melissa, hi. Oh, that sounds messed up, Cyan. Really? Also sounds really dangerous. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's not funny. It's just like, what the heck is wrong with those people? What the? Okay, so Boxapen says, during my actual driving test in the UK, I freaked out. I was at a PC, I don't know what PC is. And they said, click when you think there is a danger. And I asked, oh, a PC, a computer, I guess. Fuh. And they said, click when you think there's a danger. And I asked the instructor what it meant, and they started the test on me. How nice of them. Lovely. I don't know why, but the sound of you cleaning your brush is really relaxing. I didn't even notice it was making a sound. Huh. My brain was stuck in this makes sense, this makes no sense, short out mode. I was like, everything is a danger. Oh no. My grandma picked out some bedtime tea for me because I've been having trouble falling asleep, and I think it was strong for me. In what sense? Are you falling asleep now? But once it started, a horse reared up, a car pulled out, obvious stuff. But I didn't get the directions at all before doing it. That's not how you test someone. Dang it. It's so annoying. It's like, what am I supposed to... What are you supposed to garner from that? That, oh, if I'm absolutely unprepared and thrown into any situation without any kind of context, that I can do it or can't. This is... Oh, the Clippers sleeping tea. It was so good. And the packaging was so pretty. I had some last night and within an hour I felt like I was turning too much. Well, I'm glad it worked. That's the whole point, right? Otto! Hello, how's your back? Oh, I didn't know hops were good for sleeping. Huh. Not great. It's hurting at the moment, so I won't be able to stay for long. But I wanted to go say, oh, I'm so sorry. It's not better. Aw. Well, thank you for stopping by, though. Always happy to see you. You know that. You have inflamed 2 ribs. Oh no. How? How can... Anyway, that really sucks. Dang it, ribs, pull it together. Stop. Stop being wussy, ribs. Spinning in a bad posture. Aww. Dang it. Is that a kitty I see faintly? Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Let me check what it looks like on the camera. Maybe I need to fix it. Oh yeah, it's super blown out. What? I think that's better, right? Like I was saying, I did these at the bottom to test something out, and I wanted to test it further, so I'm doing more of the flowers with kitties in there. You can spin if you're pinned to a sofa. I had noodles with ladles of that angry grandma chili sauce, and it was so good. You can spin if you're pinned. You can't spin, but you can sure as hell spin yard pinned to a sofa. That's hilarious. Hey, Susan, hi. Yeah, I know today is a bit off because Canada, well, Quebec switched the daylight savings last weekend, like in the night from Saturday to Sunday. So last live stream was as usual, but this week it's a bit earlier for a lot of people. We switched next weekend. Oh, okay. One of the saddest things about that sauce is how fast you use it. You think, oh, just a tablespoon, and suddenly you're leaving the jar upside down to get every drop. Oh no. I hate going to summertime. I'm not a morning person. Over here, it's more about when it starts getting dark. That seems to really make a difference for people. Had so much flavor, but not hot. It's packed with flavor and had one jar in many that I think was intentionally more fiery, and it makes everything savory 100 times better. Oh man. I'm gonna have to keep an eye out for the bottle with the angry lady on it. I gotta go lay down again. I hope you feel better soon, Otto. Go have fun spinning more yarn. And thank you for stepping by, of course. Hey, Carolyn, hi. like azaleas. Here in Florida, they're already blooming and will be done soon in my yard. Oh, really? Wow. We have yet to see any flowers here, but there's still snow and ice on the ground, so at some point it will melt and we'll start having daffodils and crocuses. And then it's usually lilac and tulips and eventually dandelions everywhere. Oh my god, it's still snow and ice. Nah, that's still... It always cracks me up because, like, when I talk about the winters here with, like, Otto or almost everyone else, but like, Canadians, everybody's like, oh, that's too long, that's too long. And I'm like, well, it's not like we have a choice anyway, you know? It is literally what it is. Like, it's melting. There's really not much left on the ground, but yeah, it's only because it's been much warmer last week. Like a week ago, there was still a lot of snow left. Now it's mostly melted. We've had lots of the soft fruit trees going crazy. Just a shame they don't have more potent fragrance. What do you call soft fruit trees? There are some crocus, I think that's the right word, flowering here, and some narcissi. Some trees are starting to make time. Oh, that's gotta be gorgeous. Wyoming when I was a kiddo. 4th of July parade, snowing. Reliable. Relatable, I mean. Often goes the other way around. Like, I remember one Christmas a couple of years ago, and we had 0 snow, like nothing, and it was so weird. Cherry, plums, peaches, apricots. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that was a way to call them. Like, I know about, I think usually stuff like peaches and apricots, maybe the other ones, they're more like grouped into the orchards? Anyway, that. We're still in full winter. Yeah! Yeah. Pit fruit, soft fruit, my brain is struggling. Stone fruit. I think they all work. You're fairly up north, right, Cyan? We don't get much winter here, it's just gray all the time. I'd rather have like proper cold, but I like it when it's still cold-ish, but the sun is shining. Like, really, really cold is not super fun. But it's nice to be able to put on a sweater sometime and not melt in it, you know? Stone fruits are just fruits with huge seeds, as I understand it. Yeah, halfway up to Finland. We got the best of both worlds right now. One sun that soaks in, and the second it goes down for a bit in blankets. Oh, that sounds really cool, though. Dang! Fire pit, blankets, and marshmallows. Hey, Paulo, hi! It's cram time for hot chocolate over stuffed with marshmallows. Mmm. Little side note what Paulo reminded me. I made 2 batches of paint with the same binder, slab, water, and some of the same PO36. The mix is totally fine. The pure pigment went all kinds of green. What the heck? So the orange pigment turned green. What kind of green? That's so weird. Did it just rust? Oh wait, hold on. Let me... The jar lasted to the 3rd refill. Went to do the 4th and the whole top was fuzz. The pans were fine. The mix in the jar was fine. Hold on, what happened? Did it just grew mold on you? Not gonna lie, I checked it, but can't figure out how it was all the same stuff and one went so wrong. It's been 3 years since I had one mold. Ah, that's so weird. Maybe it got contaminated. A flying spore landed in that one specifically. If it wasn't mold, I have no clue, but it was like PG7 green on top. Whoa! Algae. I know you have to use purified water for that exact reason. Yeah, but even with purified water, there's always, like, just in the ambient air, you have germs that can go in your jar and eventually make it go bad. It helps to use, like, purified water, but it's not completely mold proof. I always use bottled water and use Brita filter this time, but everything else was okay. Even the water bottle I used is fun. My vote is on random stray spore that landed in there and was like, ooh, party. May have been a speck of something, but it was super creepy. Ugh. Microbe fastness. That would be really interesting info to have. It was a beautiful feast day. We should all document our jars that do weird stuff and eventually make it into a book or something. Gotta find a way to make back what we have to toss in terms of pigments and all that. Early Thanksgiving for the mold. Blech. I'm almost to the point of needing to make more azo yellow and can't wait to see if it does all the same strange things again. What was it with that one? That's PY150, right? Turned blue, had red iodine drops, went back to blue, then turned yellow. Whoa. PY150. Huh. I've never really been that tempted to mull it because like I'm just too scared of transparent colors being super difficult to mull and like them taking forever. So I'm not sure I will continue mulling paints on the long term, just because it's like I'm terrible at keeping track of it and refilling jars, and it's a lot of work, and I often feel like I'm scattering myself rather than being efficient and focusing on less stuff, you know. The more compressed and heated it got, the stranger it behaved. It's gonna be interesting to see if like it does anything with your new molar that is like larger. It was several days of mulling, but the most fascinating one. Oh, definitely. I can believe that. That is so weird in it, but I've never molded any pigmented to paint. some pigments you think, I don't know why everyone does this, because wait, what? Then you get to something like any Quinn and it becomes oh, all the transparent colors are nightmarish. Okay, some pigments you think, I don't know why everyone doesn't do this, because oh yeah. Like, more often than not, when you talk about handmade paints to someone who has never really looked into it, they will ask about really bright colors. And then you enter the land of the paintmaker trauma of mulling forever a color. And then it goes bad on you. Nope. Like, ultramarine is so fast and easy. Everyone should be making their own. Ultramarine, Potter's Pink, that PY 159 color. It's a shame the pigment is not that easy to find. I think only Kremer has it. But it's such a nice yellow, like that, the granulating yellow. Love it. All the cobalts, all the earth colors, mainly. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Buff titanium. The more transparent, the more of a spoiled brat you're dealing with. Exactly. What is the advantage of mulling your own paints? Well, it can be multiple things. It might be something you enjoy the process of doing. In certain cases, it might be less expensive to make your own, like especially colors you use a lot. But yeah, I don't think nowadays there is that much of an advantage. But it can be fun, and sometimes it lets you test out like more difficult to find pigments. Do factory-made paints have more preservatives like food? I think they have more efficient preservatives, because I've never really seen any store-bought paint that has grown mold. Trying to think. But yeah, you know, like some colors, like Potter's Pink, it's really rewarding to do it yourself because it re-wets really well. It's beautiful. And it's often less expensive, a bit. But yeah, if you find any like factory-made paint, for certain things, for all the transparent colors, it's better to go with factory paint, because with the rollers, it's much easier for them to make than for like a paint maker to make. Are the quantities you make more affordable than from a tube? I think it depends on exactly what pigment and where you source it, but generally I would say yes. Like yeah, I think generally yes. It's easier if you are, say, in the EU, because you can order directly from Kremer. I love Sennelier's yellow green. It would be fun to make buckets of it. Oh my gosh. If you want to see buckets of paints though, the golden or core Twitter accounts, they regularly post videos of their paint making processes. And the paint usually ends up in large buckets, and it's so satisfying to watch. I had a yellow from Winsor & Newton, And white nights simply mean that went off, but in the hundreds of other pans and tubes never had it happen. What pigment was it? I'm curious. I'd argue factory paints are better as far as watercolors because the ideal watercolor is to be transparent and handmade tends to require lots of mulling. I would argue that the ideal color is not necessarily transparent, but I guess that's a matter of preferences. I only know it was a lemony yellow. Huh. And it turned a strange green and wasn't from a dirty brush. Ew. Well, it depends if it's a transparent color. It's of course different mixing granulating colors. I guess it really depends on how you like to paint. If someone likes to do multiple layers, it might be a lot more interesting to work with transparent paints for that, but sometimes you really want to let the paint bring its own level of random to the artwork, and that's when granulating colors are super fun to use. It was early days and thought I'd closed up my palette before it was dry, but I've closed my other palettes with super wet paint and they've been fine. Huh. I've had paints like paint tubes corrode on me, but in terms of really going moldy, I've had it with gouache because I was trying to keep it in a moist palette, and yeah, that's like a surefire way to have mold in something. You really don't have to wait long. But I found it curious that cadmium colors are having a comeback. Are they? Have they ever left? Dun, dun, dun. Certain pigments, once you have the stuff you need, is far cheaper to make. But for example, lapis costs about £20 for a small pot, and you won't make more than £2 from it. Yeah, for that one, like it's would be more for personal use, in my opinion. Besides, if you leave it too long in pan form, it might harden and become harder to use. Jelly gouache is a beast. I was so scared to open it up after 1.5 years and all was totally good. Still scared. I don't have any, but I would be scared. How do you like it, jelly gouache? I'm curious. For some time, cadmium colors were the ugly duckling and people were not using them. Then Schminky launches the volcanoes, super granulate things, and nobody cares. That they are cadmium based and can be dangerous. I just find it funny, to be honest. Well, they don't have that many cadmiums in the super granulating volcano set. You have the red, the orange, and maybe the violet that uses the PR108. Hold on, I have my... Where did I put it? I had it out earlier, but then I did some cleanup to be able to paint. So yeah, volcano orange, volcano red, volcano violet. Oh, and the brown too. But they'll use the same one, I guess. Personally, my thing about cadmiums was mostly that they are super pricey. And you can find similar hues in paints that are cheaper, so that's why I would not personally go for cadmiums like first. Yeah, they've been using a lot of cobalt colors in there too. I think as long as you're not eating the paint like candy, you're fine. Sometimes it's tempting though. Gouache is still not my forte. I keep trying to make scanning a lot more effective. But the jelly gouache is really nice to use for me. It's nicer than Winsor Newton because it doesn't dry to crispy bits in 3 seconds. Oh, and if you forget a palette with gouache in it, with Winsor Newton gouache in it, and you just like bump it, it's confettis in there. Does Winsor Newton have less granulation than Daniel Smith? It really depends. I don't think there's a like a general tone to everything. For example, Winsor Newton is the only other brand that has the same granulating yellow as Schmincke's Volcano Yellow. Well, if the brown jelly gouache is not pudding, I repeat, not pudding. Are you sure? Are you sure? And even a smaller set has more colors than you'll ever need. Yeah, those jelly cups are really big, but it's just... I think it for me it's more that they require a lot of space that I don't have, so that's why it's kind of stressing me out. I don't know why. And it's honest to goodness so much more pigmented than you'd expect. I'm not worried about pigmented as much as opaque. Like, sure, some pigments will never be opaque, but like if they manage to have colors that are mixed in with white not be opaque, then we have an issue. Also, like Winsor Newton has what, 100 colors at most? And Daniel Smith has like, I don't know, 250? So yeah, of course there's gonna be more like granulating colors from Daniel Smith. But it's mostly because they offer so many more colors. Like Winsor Newton has a beautiful smalt blue that is very granulating. Their cobalt green, deep, dark, I don't know, is also very nice. They have that lemon yellow deep that is yellow and granulating, which is great. The magnesium brown, the cerulean blue. I've done 3 or 4 real attempts and barely touched the white for layering. Ooh, okay, that's good. I repeat, not pudding. Pudding. As much as I love chocolate, as a kid, my favorite pudding was butterscotch. I don't know why. Aside from it being delicious, you know, but... They got on pretty opaque. There are a few in my set that are less, but it's not a hindrance. I mean, gouache also dries more transparent and darker usually than it looks like when you put it down. But yeah, it's just a matter of like, are the colors I expect to be opaque enough? And if the answer is yes, then we have a winner. Butterscotch pudding is the bee's knees. I know, right? I don't know why it's so good. Like, I would have the choice between both and would always ask mom to make the butterscotch one. But it's about the only thing where I would go for butterscotch flavor. It's magical butterscotch. Alright, so I think I'm mostly not finished with the painting, but mostly done with the live stream for today. Unless you guys have specific questions you want me to answer before I shut down everything. I prefer the candy personally, like the pops of saltiness. Oh, you can keep those. You can have all the pops of saltiness you want. You know, it's always a big debate, kerfuffle, fight in here whenever someone mentions salty sweets. I will die on the hill of salty sweet just tastes like sweets with salt. It doesn't enhance anything. Hey, thank you so much, Jellybean. I hope you have a great weekend too. Also not a fan of salted caramel. Oh, you're about the only person I know, Paulo. I just, yeah, I don't know. The way my brain perceives the taste, it doesn't meshes the taste together. It tastes like if I had dropped caramel into salt by accident and decided to eat it anyway. So it's just salty and caramelly in the end. I would hate Mexican candies. I think so. I had a coworker that was Mexican once, and he would say how he would eat fruits with salt on them. I was like, why? It was someone saying like how putting salt on fruits makes them sweeter, and I'm like, no, it just makes them salty. Sour is okay, but anyway. Also, savory desserts make me want to kill someone. If it's a dessert, it has to be sweet. Well, what is a savory dessert aside from like sea salt caramel or sea salt chocolate? My Indian colleagues love the Mexican candies I bring back, but the Brits are usually not fans. Salt and chili are the first notes of 90% of them. It's got to be interesting for sure. That's different. My mom loves grapefruit with salt. It is a new trend among cooks. Oh no. I just called them bad desserts. I see it a lot when there's like new cookies or new pastries on the place where we order grocery from. It's always like something with sea salt, and I'm always like, why? So I give them to Mr. E if we get any. Just call them bad desserts or cheese platters if I want to be. The biggest request is the 4 chili flavored lollipops. I can more easily picture sweet and spicy together than like expecting something sweet and then it has salt in it either. Though I'm not a fan of like chili pepper chocolate. But like I can understand a meal that has a savory meal, like an actual meal, not a dessert that has a sweet spicy sauce. Anyway, I guess we're not gonna fight for the desserts. Everybody's gonna have their own stuff. We literally have a topping called tagine. It's lemon, lime, salt and chili powder. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's a topping. But I guess you're gonna tell me you put it on fruits, and that's when my brain is gonna blue screen. Because that sounds delicious on, like, meat, I guess. Yep, we put it on fruit, like water. But watermelon is already good. I'm broken. Oh, strawberries. Anyway, good if you like it, I guess. That is strange on fruit to start, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad you guys like it, but it just breaks my brain. I'm still reeling from the notion of salty desserts, and I'm like, why? One day we'll turn Ev. Oh, I don't think so. I doubt that will ever happen. And the only thing that's good on watermelon is bottle of midori. But the watermelon on its own is good, isn't it? I really like it. My main annoyance with watermelon is that it's always full of seeds. And like the part of the watermelon flesh where all the seeds are is weird. But if you can find a like perfectly ripe seedless watermelon, oh my gosh. It's like any recipe of, like, even if you make, like, say you make banana bread, there's gonna be a pinch of salt in there, fine, but like I'm finding myself having to adjust certain recipes because it's like you're not supposed to pick up that much on the taste of salt in it. I'm going home in June. Ooh! So expect some exciting treats this summer. That's so cool! I hope it goes well. Because everything's been quite stressful. Like, we never know what kind of turn things will take, but I hope everything stays good so that you can visit your family. My granny grew orange meat watermelons and they were the perfect amount of sweet and juicy. None other compare. Ooh, that sounds great. I didn't even know they had orange meat watermelons. I've seen yellows and pink or red, but salt is a flavor enhancer, but so is sugar. So, I mean, they will fight at certain point. And yeah, I mean, if you're making a savory cake, fine. But if you're making like a sweet cake, if I wanted that, I would be licking a salt block. I don't know. I'm just not convinced, I guess. Thank you so much. Both of my nieces graduate high school, uni, so it's a big party. Ah, that sounds awesome. Oh my gosh. So, does that mean you'll be able to see Emmy's other babies? You can edit the desserts and cakes and not feel it, just feel its effect. Yeah. And sometimes it's kind of needed for the chemistry of a dessert to happen. Like, I can imagine that, but I hear you on the feel it. Indeedy, at least 2 of the 3. Oh, yay! Dang, that's gonna be tough because you're probably gonna miss your kiddos. But at the same time, it's gonna be pretty cool to see the other kiddos. I just finished organizing my too many fountain pens, so it is time for me to hit the bed. Good night. Hey, good night, Cyan. Dream of beautiful fountain pens. Well, all right. So I guess that's it. Well, thank you everyone for being here today as usual. It's always a lot of fun, you guys know that. I really enjoy doing the live streams on the Saturdays. It's the closest thing we can get to everybody getting together and arting together, I guess. Helps us to stay behind this time because our canal and Caturday have closed. Oh no! So FaceTime your. Oh, okay. Okay. What a shame though that the canal and Caturday have closed. Alright guys, have a great weekend and see ya all on the Discord for the usual shenanigans. And yeah, I hope you have a good weekend and a good week. And if anything, you can find all of us on the Discord and reach out over there. So yeah, thank you so much guys. Have a great Saturday night and see you all next time. Bye bye.